Hello, my name is Fatima Stephens, and I will be reading a segment of my short story, The Lycanthrope. As a psychokinetic telepath, I thought it best to hide away from the world lest I go carry. I thought taking sanctuary in the middle of nowhere might stop me from hearing all the screams and nightmares of everyone else, thus taking away my urge to play superhero, but it didn't. On the way to save the woman from her fate, calling the cops was an afterthought, but it hadn't prevented her death. After I told the court the truth, I ended up with a 20-year sentence to Ravenheart Asylum. Since I woke up late, I had privacy in the shower room, thank God. Afterwards, I went to the mess hall and caught up with Alice. Her bright green eyes and beaming smile gave me hope. She was so sweet she made sugar taste like salt. No one would guess she had violent pyromaniac tendencies. I only knew because I read her mind when we first met. Everyone here was considered criminally insane. The 19-year-old girl staring at me across the room, channeling the ghost girl from The Ring with hair covering her face, had to be the most extreme. She'd massacred her whole family and half a dozen cops who tried to arrest her. The autistic boy beside her claimed to know 1,000 theoretical ways to kill someone, and had successfully attempted 10. Alice studied me as she played with her short strawberry blonde locks. "Are you all right? You seem tense today." It's still hard to think this is my life," I answered. I shrugged and turned to my plate, dreading breakfast even though I was hungry. For once we had palatable food, pancakes with eggs on top and bacon shaped into a smile. The squeak of a stretcher going down the hall stole my attention. I turned to the hall, realizing the door was closed, but my focus made the images and sounds clear to me. So as not to startle us, doctors wheeled a dead patient out the back exit. Alice shook my arm and I opened my eyes. As the sole person who knew about my powers, she could tell when I'd seen something, and how to pull me out of it. "What'd you see?" "Another dead inmate," I sighed. She hung her head and drew a cross on her chest. We always surmised that the warden purposefully collected insane killers. I never had the heart to use my powers to read into it. I knew the whole truth wasn't always easy to live with. Watching patients die behind the ruthless methods he allowed within these walls gave credence to our suspicions of him and the staff. "That's the 4th one this week," Alice murmured as her eyes watered. I touched her hand, offering the little comfort I could. An orderly came in with a box of letters and packages. He walked around and passed them out to everyone. "Mail day," I said. "I've been here long enough to know the pattern." "That's right," the orderly answered. Alice eyed him, and he eventually threw a postcard on our table. "This is for both of you." He walked away. Alice picked it up and read it. A smile overtook her face. "Sarah." I glanced at it, the picture of an island at sunrise. "Wish you were here," she said, reciting the card. "It's been a year since I left Ravenheart. While leaving was the highlight of my life, I hate that it meant leaving you. Exploring the family wealth has led me to Ile de Ré in France. It's serene and beautiful, but also lonely. I keep you in my thoughts. I pray for you every day. I hope that soon you recover, or at the very least, escape and find me." Alice kept reading aloud. I drowned it out with calm focus, trying to visualize the island. I saw Sarah, shiny red locks blowing in the breeze, exotic birds singing, swimming in cool blue waters, the feeling of total liberation. And then a bell rang. "Therapy time," a nurse yelled. Another dream haunted me as I slept, visions of someone. A man stood on a cliff in a lush forest, a shadowy cave behind him. Unruly black hair hung over his face. His eyes gleamed silver in the darkness, a change caused by his altered state. He howled at the moon, took a swig of beer, and threw the bottle over the edge. He knelt unexpectedly, as if a force gripped him from the inside. He grasped at the earth and rent his clothes as shouts of pain ensued. Inch by inch, his body morphed into a muscle-bound wolf at least twice the ordinary size. He growled and leapt off the edge. I watched the wolf race through the city. Each time he jumped, he soared. He tore into a couple walking down the street. His angry, bloody bites continued until both of them lay motionless. Clouds swiftly ensconced the moon. As he watched it, his growl became a yelp as he changed forms again. He arose, naked and human, licking the blood from his lips. It started me awake, but I lay there for a moment. I couldn't do anything about it. Or could I? Claustrophobia set in. More than anything, I wanted out of my room. Sirens, footsteps, and doors slamming open set me on my feet. I went to the door and peered out through a small window as a new inmate entered the halls. Black hair shadowed his chiseled face as he strolled in, half naked with blood all over his mouth and carved chest. He turned to me. In that glance into his eyes, I read him and knew. He was the werewolf.